Good morning. Well, unfortunately, clouds have rolled in and hidden the pinkish purple sunrise that we just had about 10 minutes ago. Pretty soon I'm going to need to bring my own light because Atlanta is so far to the west in Eastern time that these scopes will happen before sunrise. So I'm going to have to mount a light on top of my iPhone so you can see me in the dark. Anyways, thanks for joining me for another Ask Your Advisor questions. I did have a question come in relation to the document management and document storage discussion I had probably 2 days ago. So on the replay on YouTube, I'm going to link to that video somewhere in the top corner so you can see my original thoughts on that. That's where I talked about using more sophisticated systems like Laserfiche, Cabinet, NetDocuments, or World Docs. An advisor asked, well, what do you think about document storage in a solution like eMoney, or maybe my custodian's document storage solution? And also another option is Salesforce. From a CRM provider's perspective, they do allow document uploads into client records, and you can have documents stored there. And those are accessible solutions like the eMoney Vault or the Salesforce document upload. Those are accessible. My concern is the retrieval and the speed at which you can retrieve those documents. The last thing I want you to do is to have to log into Salesforce, find a client record, click on the Documents tab, and then sort through things or try to just hunt and peck for the pieces of information that you're looking for. So that's where the advantage of metadata, see what I'm talking about? The metadata, where you're tagging files with last name Winterberg, this is a tax form, it's a 1040. So all you do is, with a program like Laserfiche, and I know I talk about Laserfiche a lot, it's not the cheapest solution out there, but I talk about it repeatedly because of the powerful options that it has. So they have basically like this super search bar that works like Google for all your documents, and all you type into the bar is Winterberg 1040 2014. Boom, it gives you the link to that document and any documents that match that search query. So it eliminates all those wasted minutes of hunting and pecking for information. So you can get started with the built-in solutions in planning software and dashboard software like eMoney, built-in solutions in Salesforce CRM, and that gets your documents there. Yeah, and we get the file naming suggestion solution. I'll talk about that. But also, when you're thinking about these document storage solutions, think about the retrieval and how quickly you can find that. And just like you said, it is very important on file naming. So when you're adding files to your server, your naming convention is what is super important. So many advisors adopt a naming convention with the client's name, the type of document, and pertinent information, and try to cram everything into the file name. Because Windows Search and Mac Spotlight, it'll give you search results using all the information in the file name. And if you have Word documents or PDF documents that started as electronic documents, those tools, Windows Search and Mac Spotlight, will search inside the document and find text and return that, and that's good. The challenge is for everything that you scan, so things that clients bring in and you just run it through your scanner, unless you're running optical character recognition on those scans, you can't search inside the documents. So the benefit is if you run OCR, you can search inside the documents. It can be about 95% accurate, maybe 94%. It gets you most of the way there, but it adds a lot of time to your workflow because it takes like 30 seconds to OCR a couple of pages. And if you're scanning in 50, 60, 70 pages from a new client or from a trust document that's really long, it's going to take you minutes just for that one scan. Multiply that by other documents that you intake and ingest, and it multiplies your workload. But it is important to have a very good naming convention, and that's what Laserfiche and other tools enforce. when you ingest a document, when you add it into the system, it says, what is the client name? And sometimes it's just a blank field, but other times it's a drop-down list using client names that are already in the system. And a drop-down list is advantageous because now you can't make any mistakes when you type in information. When Winterberg is in the drop-down list, it's spelled right 100% of the time. But whoever's doing the filing has to select the correct client name. And that's why I like the two-pronged approach. Number one, take advantage of the metadata, where an admin can say this is Winterberg, this is 2014, this is a 1040 tax return. But your second leg of that stool is the quick fields option inside Laserfiche, or the optical character recognition, or just at least the full search of the entire context and content inside the document. So if the naming convention breaks down, you still can run a full text search, and as long as that document has been OCR'd, or it started its life as a Word document, something that already doesn't need OCR on it, that backup step is, if we find Winterberg inside the document and we see 1040 at the top right, because every Form 1040 has the Form 1040 up there, you're still going to have good chances at recalling that and pulling it up from your system. So when you're looking at document management solutions, storage is important, compliance is important, but think about your retrieval. When a client calls in and said, I need to know what my taxable income was last year because it affects something this year, or they need a quick figure out of a form that you know that you have on your server, think about retrieval. And that's where the document management systems, which are more expensive, have the potential for a good return on investment, because it's going to speed up that retrieval and make you more efficient. And that's great because it saves you minutes a day, it turns into hours a month, and it turns into days a year. And those are things that you can do to build your business, get more clients, or maybe take some time off and do whatever you want to do with that extra time, rather than be forced to hunt and peck on your server for random documents. So thanks for joining in on this Periscope, a little bit more about document management. It is probably 100% humidity. It's really humid here in Atlanta. I hope it's a great day wherever you are. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll have one more scope to wrap up the week tomorrow. Thank you so much for the hearts. See you guys tomorrow.